Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. How's it going? Time to regroup. Time to re-evaluate the landscape of the NFL. Time to check things, see where we are, how we should feel after a pretty turbulent week of NFL football. And this video is just going to be focused on the Seahawks as it regards the playoffs. We're just going to focus on what needs to happen now because obviously Saturday the Seahawks lost, but the day still went really well for us. And then we got a little bit of a gut punch on Sunday morning with the Packers recovering from a 10-point deficit to win. So we're not in a great spot anymore, but I want to go over exactly what's going on here. I got some requests yesterday in stream to kind of recap exactly where we stand after that Packers win. There is a game tonight, but it has no bearing on the Seahawks in the playoffs. It's Chargers-Colts. That has nothing to do with us. So we can say everything that needs to be said after Week 16 now. So with that being said, let's take a look here and see where the Seahawks stand and where they will stand, assuming certain things happen. So first of all, the Seahawks playoff odds dipped to 29%. So that Green Bay win actually hurt. I will acknowledge that. That was not a desired outcome. If Green Bay loses that game to Miami, we're feeling completely different right now. That is a significant percentage swing. However, where does it really leave us? So we're going to just take a look at what needs to happen for the Seahawks to get in. And it's still not bad, but it's not as good as it looked. So let's do the math here. So first of all, the minimum, the Seahawks need to win out. I think we all understand that. If they don't win out, the playoff odds are so small, they're not even really worth talking about. So let's start from the assumption of that. We have the Jets at home with Chris Streveler or Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco, or it doesn't look like they're going to have Mike White. But whoever it is, that's a game you would expect the Seahawks to win no matter how bad we're playing. So let's say we beat the Jets. And then let's say we beat the Rams, who I know played really well yesterday, but the Broncos have given up. So I'm not putting a ton into that. I would still fully expect us to be able to win a must-win game at home against a team like the Rams in their current state. So give the Seahawks those two wins. Just assume that they beat the Jets, beat the Rams. We're talking about a 73% playoff chance. 73. So we're working from a position of Seahawks winning out, because if they don't win out, this conversation's kind of useless anyway. So we're in a good spot, but 73% is not 100%. What do we need to do to make it 100%? That's the real question here. What do we need to make this 73% 100%? Well, few different things. First of all, we don't really have to worry about the Lions now, right? Because the Lions can only, at best, go 9-8. We're 9-8. If we win out, we own the tiebreaker over the Lions. We don't really have to worry about the Lions now. Who are we worried about? We're worried about the Commanders, the Giants, and the Packers. Way I see it, we need 2 of 3 things to happen. First of all, we need the Packers to lose a game. We need the Packers to lose one of their last 2 games. They play the Vikings and they play the Lions. We need the Commanders to lose one of their last 2 games. They play the Browns and they play the Cowboys. The Cowboys may not be taking that last game seriously. And we need the Giants to lose both of their last 2 games against the Colts and at Philly. Philly may be playing their backups. We need 2 of those 3 things to happen. So let's start with the most likely, all right? What is most likely of those 3 things? Most likely would be probably the Commanders losing a game. They have the Browns at home. We don't know who their Commanders are going to have at quarterback. Don't know what the Browns are going to have, period. They've been kind of a weird team since Watson got back. But very good chance they lose that game. And even if the Cowboys play backups, I'm not counting out Cowboys beating the Commanders. So I would say the Commanders is most likely. And then second is probably the Packers losing one more game. The Packers are playing good lately. but they've got to play the Vikings. The Vikings have a lot to play for, and they're not exactly winning impressively, but they keep winning, and I don't know how the Packers defense is going to stop the Minnesota Vikings offense. And then, by the way, they have the Lions. The Lions have been playing really well lately. I don't know if the Lions are going to have anything to play for in this game. That could hurt. But I think it's very likely that the Packers lose at least one of their last 2 games. So that leaves the least likely path through the Giants. They've got the Colts at home, and they've got the possibly Eagles backups in Week 18. So let's just go ahead and assume the Giants are good. Let's give them the win against the Colts. Let's not even worry about the Eagles game. If the Giants beat the Colts, they're in. And the Seahawks playoff odds dip to 60%. So this leaves us in a situation where we, quite simply, need the Packers to win, or excuse me, lose 1 game, and then we need the Commanders to lose 1 game. So let's say the Commanders lose against the Browns. That eliminates them. If they lose to the Browns, if assuming the Seahawks win out and the Giants beat the Colts, assuming all these other outcomes, the Commanders are out and the Seahawks go up to 72%. And then if the Packers lose to the Vikings, that's it. The Seahawks are in. Or you could give the Commanders the win against the Browns, and let's just go ahead and say also against the Cowboys. But then you give the Packers the loss to the Vikings or the Lions, and the Seahawks are good. So basically, we need 2 of 3 things. Well, okay, let me take that back. 3 of 4 things. Number 1, you need the Seahawks to win out. That's a given, though. That's in stone. Seahawks need to win out. I think there's some path where we can get in with 8 wins, but I don't think it's even worth talking about. So let's say Seahawks need to win their last 2. And then we need 2 of 3. Packers to lose 1, Commanders to lose 1, Giants to lose 2. Any 2 of those 3 will do. So we need some help. We don't control our own destiny. And I really wish the Packers would have been cleared off the board after that game yesterday. There's no denying that. However, at the end of the day, the path is still there. And when you take a look at what the Commanders are going through with their quarterback situation, when you take a look at the fact that they don't know what they're going to do between Heineke, who's played really poorly lately, and Wentz, who is not a very good quarterback in general, who knows? They could lose either of those games, including to the backups of the Cowboys. The Packers, still a team that is not playing great football. They're playing better lately. They've figured some things out. Still not a good team. Not yet, I don't think. I don't know how their defense is going to stop the Vikings or the Lions, to be perfectly honest. That's really about it. That's the playoff path. If you want some secondary things to root for coming on Week 17, we could use the Cowboys and the Eagles having something to play for, so they play hard against the Commanders and Giants in Week 18. So root for the Eagles to lose to the Saints and the Cowboys to beat the Titans. We get those outcomes, it's going to help. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.